and Pacific Island countries, all of them. In short, all countries of the global south, for the purpose of creating systems that are inclusive and balanced and built on the principles of equality and solidarity to generate prosperity for their peoples, that is, for the peoples of the global south. Before joining the OSCE, Jacob was the Dean of Graduate School and Research at the American University of Nigeria, at Yola. At AUN, he collaborated with the United Nations Children's Emergency Fund Nigeria to create a new graduate program in communication for social and behavioral change. The first of its kind in this part of the country, the program responds to the training needs of communication personnel working in humanitarian, development, and conflict-related sectors in the West African sub-region. Dr. Udodo Jacob previously held academic appointments at the Center on International Cooperation at New York University and at the Department of International Studies at Dickinson College in the United States of America. I thought you would clap. At Dickinson College, he helped create a new program in managing complex disasters. He led the Dickinson College Bridge Program, an initiative that provides educational opportunities for young people from regions of the world experiencing conflict and natural disasters, and for whom higher education would otherwise be impossible. He was adjunct professor of media in war and peace in the Department of National Security and Strategy at the United States Army War College in Kenya. An expert in strategic and development communication and peace, guided concern and policy advice to a range of governmental and intergovernmental organizations, including but not limited to the World Bank, the United Department for Aid, the United Nations Department for Peace Operations, to mention just a few. He led an international academic team to revise the United Nations policy on public information and strategic communication in support of disarmament, demobilization, and integration, DDR, of combatants, and drafted the revised public information strategic communication module of the United States DDR standards. He is a member of the Research Advisory Council of Resolve, a communication consortium, a global consortium, I beg your pardon, of researchers, research organizations, policymakers, and practitioners committed to empirically driven, locally defined research on the drivers of violent extremism and sources of community resilience, and an organization housed at the United States Institute of Peace. He co-led Resolve's methodological and ethical guide on violent extremism research. His regional focus is on West, Central, and East Africa, where he's currently based in Ethiopia. He is author of Convincing Rebel Fighters to Disarm, United Nations Information Operations in the Democratic Republic of Congo, published by De Gruyter, a very reputable publisher, as some of us might be aware. That book was published in 2017. His book, Transactional Radio Instruction, Improving Educational Outcomes for Children in Conflict Zones, was published by one of the world's preeminent publishers, Palgrave Macmillan, in 2020. The book comes from a US Nigeria. Jacob was the co-founder and chair of the research group Media and Peace Process Roadmap. Now at Sheffield University for Freedom Media, Roadmaps address research and policy gaps in the United Nations media relations during complex peace building and peacekeeping processes. Notably, in 2018, Roadmap convened the first multi-stakeholder forum on the transition of United Nations peace operations with Fonson Hindel and the Center for Security Policy in Geneva, Switzerland. Also in 2020, Roadmap worked with the United Nations Rule of Law institutions in the Department of Peace Operations to revise the public information and certification the IDDRS, a module to which Dr. Jacob contributed significantly. Jacob, I am glad to note, holds a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Communication Studies from the University of Leeds in the United Kingdom. His doctoral research was supervised by the eminent propaganda historian, Professor Philip M. Taylor, who lived from 1950 to 2010, where he He studied at Alumni for his Master of Arts degree in, as well as the Communucation for his Master of Arts in Communication, where he, I'm glad to note again, graduated near the top of his class. Jacob, finally, is a fellow of the Royal Society of Arts. Mr. Chairman, my dean, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to disturb. You call him JJ.
Thank you so much, my friend and my brother, we've been friends right from the first day I stepped into this campus so many years ago. Just want to correct one thing, that I did not graduate on top of my class, believe me. Believe that you'd believe anything I tell you. But but I must tell you one thing, particularly the students that are here, that I enjoyed my time here. As a student of this great university, of this great department, I enjoyed myself. I had fun. Yes, I had fun and I made great friends here. And, you know, when we study as students, one thing we have to always remember, that's those of you who are students, is that, look, it's important, of course, to study, to fulfill everything that you have to do for the purposes of achieving the grades for which you came. But it's also important for you to have fun. It's also important for you to learn outside of the classroom, to ensure that your experience within the university is not just within the four walls of the classroom. You can actually learn more outside of the classroom, but of course ensuring that you fulfill the purposes for which you came. I just want to say thank you so much, my dean and senior brother, Professor Peter Isu. Thank you so much. I have such great respect for you, and I really admire your work and what you've done. And I have no doubt that you take this faculty to heights we never could have imagined. So thank you. Thank you so much. Professor Mbungbogo, so great to see you. Thank you so much for everything you've been. You still look as young as you were all those many years ago. So great to see you. On to and my brother Muju and friend, you've done so great much better and other that are in the Faculty of Communication Arts. And I just have to say we've been really blessed, as I said. I stand next calls now. I'll just go straight to deliver the distinguished alumni lecture. And one more time, I want to thank the dean of the school for giving me this great opportunity. And I also want to thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ndagia. Thank you so much, and ally to be here this afternoon. In this lecture, I'll delve with the rich history of an industry, the evolution of media, the little essential of the Nigerian spirit. But before I go on, I know that we've been sitting for so long. Can we just stand up for one moment? Can everybody stand up? Everybody stand up just one moment, all right? Stand up and introduce yourself to somebody that's sitting next to you. Say something nice. Just introduce yourself. Look, my name is, good to see you. Give someone a high five. All right. And then you may walk up to another person and give another person a high five. So good to see you. Awesome. Good to see you. And you may want to say something nice to that person. I love the color of your hair. Right. I love your tie. You look good today. Make sure you're donating. Awesome. Fantastic. Amazing. You can take a selfie with someone if you want, but with banner. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Don't use that opportunity to sneak out without, of course, making a donation. The title of my lecture is The Strategic Role of Communication and Media Studies in Endogenous National Development. And I will delve into the rich tapestry of our nation's history, the evolution of media, and the limited potential of the spirit. And I will